We're going to kick off the meeting now. My name is Wade Crowfoot, and I lead our Natural Resources Agency here in California, and I co-chair this Wildfire and Forest Resilience Task Force with Jen Eberlein, who leads the U.S. Forest Service in this region and all of the 18 national forests across California. In a moment, we're going to have an opportunity for the other members of the executive committee of this task force to share opening thoughts. And I'll also explain just why we exist as a task force, what we're trying to do, and why we are here today in Redding. Before I do that, though, I want to provide some important acknowledgements. The first is to Shasta College for hosting us. So let's give a round of applause to Shasta College. I also want to thank some key groups who helped put this meeting together and this whole couple of days together. The first is the North Coast Resource Partnership. This partnership is really the model of a set of regional groups and leaders that have been driving forward on wildfire resilience, on environmental resilience in this region for a very long time. So huge thanks to the partnership for your work. And I also want to acknowledge 2 resource conservation districts, or RCDs, that were really critical putting this together, both Napa County RCD as well as Tehama County RCD. And I think almost everybody in this room probably knows what a resource conservation district is, but if you don't, these are really unique organizations that weave together funding, resources, partnerships to get things done on the ground, like protecting our communities against wildfire. So big thanks to those 2 RCDs. I also want to just call out briefly this long list of sponsors that we have. And our ability to put this event together and to drink coffee and to eat lunch is the result of folks coming together and actually helping fund this and organize this. And that includes the McConnell Foundation, RCRC, which is the Rural Counties Representatives of California, representing all of our rural counties, our friends of the U.S. Forest Service, CAL FIRE, our California Department of Conservation, Cal Forests, North State Planning and Development Collective, Sonoma Water, the California Registered Apprenticeship Forest Training Program, Sierra Pacific Industries, Napa Valley Community Foundation, WRA Landscape Restoration, the Guayuqui Urab Maite, and Fall River Brewing Company. Huge thanks for everybody coming together. We have almost 340 people that are part of this meeting here today, and I'm just so thankful to everybody for being here. Next, bear with me here. I want to introduce Dr. Joe Wise, who leads the Community College District for this region, to provide us welcoming remarks. Dr. Wise. Sorry, you've been demoted. Or promoted. Yeah.
Check test. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, my name is Joe Wise. I'm Superintendent President here at Shasta College, and we want to welcome you here. We've been looking forward to hosting you for several months, and I do also want to acknowledge our staff who've been working very diligently and hard to all the details to make this happen. For Shasta College, the last 12 to 14 years, we've had a real focus on partnerships, and that's been a key to our success and our innovation. Our vision is to be a nationally recognized model community college, engaging our communities in student learning and growth. And I think our work in the forestry area and our other programs is a shining example of how we're implementing programs to meet that vision. We have an institutional goal, 4 goals, and one of them is centered around partnerships with our local industries and educational institutions and those community partners. So our heavy equipment logging operation program, our CDL Class A and B courses, our California Registered Apprenticeship for forest training, all of these are examples of things that we couldn't do without partnerships with our local agencies and industry and community members. Another example is our recent enhanced partnership with CAL FIRE. I see some of you here. And in the last year, we've been able to partner to assist CAL FIRE in their development of a 3rd training center, CAL FIRE Training Center North, located here on our campus, sharing our fire training grounds and adding development to that area. And so it's been an exciting partnership. And just Tuesday, we had a prescribed burn on the McConnell Foundation property just north of the campus. And so it's the 2nd one this year, and that partnership with hosting CAL FIRE here has helped make those sorts of things possible. On a little bit of a selfish note, we are searching for a forestry and natural resources instructor. So if you know anybody, go to our website. You might hear that from another staff member later on in the next couple days. But again, we just want to welcome you here. We're proud to serve you and to be here and host you, and we wish you a great couple of days.
Thanks so much, Dr. Wise. Our community college system across California is truly a pride of the state, and we need this system. We need Shasta College to actually help train the workforce that is essential to do this work. And so later this afternoon, we're actually having a panel that's going to dig into these workforce needs and opportunities. So it's really fitting that we're here at Shasta College today. I want to also acknowledge that in all of this work that we do on wildfire and landscape resilience, we do it in partnership with California Native American tribes. I think if you follow California wildfire resilience, you know that we are working hard to learn from tribes on how to manage landscapes, and that our California Native American tribes have been managing our lands that we now know as California for thousands of years quite effectively. So as we put more prescribed fire on the ground, for example, we're learning from tribal practitioners on the cultural fire and their practices that they put to use for thousands of years. So it's really fitting, and I'm very thankful that we have a leader here, Jack Potter Jr. from Redding Rancheria, to help invoke the discussion here today and acknowledge the lands that we meet on. Thank you so much for being here, Mr. Potter. Oh, yeah, Mr. Potter, I should say that there's about 340 people in the room. We're also webcasting this, and so there's several hundred more people watching online. So that's why we always have to speak in a microphone.
Well, I have a big voice. As the leader, you must have a big voice to be able to get the message across. So I was asked to do the land acknowledgement, and it kind of puzzled me because I was like, the land is Shasta College's. I joke. But you're sitting here today in the homelands of the Nomtipom Wintu people. The Nomtipom Wintu people are the Stillwater people. And so Stillwater Creek's right up here, and that was one of their boundaries. But the Wintu homelands, our country is very vast. It begins at Mount Shasta, and it goes all the way down to Vallejo. And I always think, if you picture Wintu country, well, Wintun, as the United States, so the entire territory is Wintun, which goes from Mount Shasta down to Vallejo, from the Bend in the Pitt River, all the way over the coastal range. And then you have 4 states: Wintu, Nomalaki, southeastern Patwin, and southwestern Patwin. And within those 4 states, you have counties, or we call them bands, and the northern Wintu people have 9 bands or county areas. We have the Nomtipom, which you are within, Claldapom, Elpom, Dawnam, Dawpom, Winnemem, Wamak, Numsu, and Elpom. Within those counties or band territories, you had towns, or we called them villages, and each one had a mayor or a headman. And we regulated our own 4 lands, we regulated our own little territories and stuff, even the forest. And so if you happen to have access to a Native American, sit down and chat with them sometimes, because they do still retain the ecological knowledge of how to manicure the forest and everything. And even after the guest came within the homeland, the sheep herders and them, they continued doing that until Smokey the Bear said fire is bad. And because of Smokey, now we have such things as wildfires. Because within the Wintu language, we never had such a word. We had fire. And we understood how to control it because we would talk to it. It's a spirit. We would sing to it. And as we're out in our homelands with the prescribed burns, we knew exactly what time of season to do it. And we knew the songs to sing to control that fire as it went across the land and stuff. And it was very important. It was a very sacred time because it was during the changing of the seasons at the end of fall, before winter came, right at that very end, after we got our acorn, got all of our harvest. We would set the world on fire. And we never had all this underbrush or anything, and it would just literally burn and burn. But it wasn't hot or intense, and it opened up the little pine cones and it dropped the next seedlings for the year, which the women liked because that was their basket shoots, fresh little straight pine root and stuff that they would do their basket with and stuff. And so everything worked hand in hand. And so for those of you out there that do have access to tribes, include them and, just sit down and ask them. And, it's not that they want the land back, but they would like to see it healthy again because we still utilize it. And it also protects everyone's homes because we all live here together as one people now. All of you guys right now, I look out there and you're all Wintu because you're in my homeland, and that's the way we were raised. That where you live or what, that's what you become because that's the name of that land. And so I welcome you guys here today in the home of the Nomtipom Wintu people. And I already prayed this morning. My grandpa said it's not good to pray twice. So when I woke up this morning at 4 a.m, as I sat there waiting for the sun to come over the mountain, I said my prayers for this morning, and we will all be protected and taken care of. And I just want to thank you all for being here to come together with a meeting of the minds and try to figure out how we can restore the lands together and just get the land back to being healthy, because without healthy land, we will not be healthy people, because the land grows your food. It provides nutrients for all those fresh young little deer that'll be getting ready to be hunted and eaten. And that's why else we set the land on fire, because it provided fresh grass and stuff, and they had bigger herds, and then we had more jerky. And the northern Wintu were known, if you read the archaeological reports, it talked about us being obese back then. And so I don't think it was as big as I am now, probably 20 more pounds on a traditional sized body, but not the couple hundred, because the food was healthy and it was nutritious. But we had an abundant resources, plenty of acorn, salmon, and deer, and the roots and all that. And it could get back to that, and that's healthy, good food. You guys should try it one day, roots. But thank you for being here, and I appreciate this forum.
Thank you so much, Mr. Potter, for educating us in such an open-hearted way. You know, we do this work with humility, recognizing that the government agencies that many of us work for have been managing our lands for decades, and that Native peoples have been managing these lands for thousands of years. And so the partnerships that we have and the leadership that tribes are providing is absolutely essential. So the most important people in this room are actually not sitting on the stage. It's you in the audience, and it's those that are piping in via the internet. It's the people on the ground actually getting projects done to bring balance back to our landscape and protect our communities. And so recognizing that this meeting, this couple days, is all about building connection. And so to start that off, we have Allison Jolly, who we work with in our Regional Forest and Fire Capacity Program, who's going to run us through a couple of activities here to build our connection with one another. Allison.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So we're going to lead through a couple of quick introductory activities. First, I want to say good morning to all the folks online. We're going to get the folks online doing some networking, and then I'm going to give you all here in person some instructions. So online folks, we invite you to click on the Poll Everywhere link that's either in the chat or you can scan the QR code on your screen. And we just have a couple of questions. We want to know who's in the room virtually and where you work. So online folks can get going with that. And then if you're here in person, I'm about to have you start talking to each other, but it's a little nerve-wracking to have a room this size all start talking. So I just want to flag that we're only going to have 2 minutes. So once you start, when you hear me up here trying to get your attention, if you can try to cut off that conversation and look forward to continuing it over lunch. So the intro topic is really simple. We just want you to turn to somebody either to your left or your right and introduce yourselves. Tell them your name, where you work, what you're excited to be here for today. You're gonna have 2 minutes. Ready, set, go.
All right, if you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap twice. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. If you can hear me, clap 4 times. You guys are so nice. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do one more thing to just get a sense for who else in the room. And I have to say, like, if energy was a scale of noise, that was just so much energy. It was really exciting and fun, and there's obviously a lot of enthusiasm in the room. So Poll Everywhere folks are already going, telling us where they're calling in from or what type of organization. And just so I can see a little bit better, we're gonna do hand raising. Raise your hand if you work for a nonprofit. All right. Raise your hand if you work for private industry.
All right.
All right. What about tribes or tribal-led organization? Wonderful. Okay. Local government agency. Such a broad mix here today. Federal agency. All right. State agency. Quite a few. And then other. Okay, awesome. Other? Well, we've got a broad representation here today, and with that, I think comes a lot of just innovation and different ways of thinking. So exciting to be here with you all, and I'm going to turn it back over to Wade.
Thanks so much, Allison. Wow, it's for those that are joining online, the hand raise demonstrated that we have a pretty good proportion of folks from all different sectors. I want to embarrass my colleague Karen Mortensen for a moment, who's our state. You want to stand up real quick? Karen is our state director of the Bureau of Land Management. And if you know California, you know BLM has a lot of land in California.